All right, today we get started with the modifications to our Grand Design Imagine 2910 BH travel trailer. What we're gonna do today is look at changing from one battery to two batteries. Let me show you what I have laid out here. All right, so of course I have the two batteries, right? And we have two battery boxes. We are going to be putting these terminals on that have multiple connections so that you don't have things stacked up. We're going to be using a battery tracker because in our travel trailer, you see on the control panel that they only have lights letting you know like 1, 2, 3, 4. And what we want to know definitely is how much charge is left, because you cannot go below 10 without ruining your battery. So we're going to put a battery tracker on for that. We have connectors to connect these two together so they work together. We have our solar, our ZAMP solar connector that we're gonna have to work on. So I have some things here to work on that with, our heat gun and our clamps, so that we connect these two together. We also have to drill a little bit. We're gonna drill into this battery box so that our ZAMP solar can run directly from the battery. Okay, so just to give you a little more information on the anti-gravity battery tracker, it is a Bluetooth battery monitor. So you will take this and hook it up to your battery. So black goes with negative, and then the red goes with positive. And if you have your batteries hooked parallel, you're gonna make sure that this positive will be here, but then this negative would be over on this other side to hook them together. So once you have this hooked up, then you go to your phone, you go to your battery tracker, and it actually tells you how full your battery is. See this number up here, the 12.87? You don't want to go below 10 on your batteries. So this helps me monitor exactly how much charge my batteries have. So another cool thing about this app is that if you just click on this graph, I don't know if you can see it at the bottom, it takes you to a chart. And that chart will let you track over time. You probably can't see it because of the reflection. The chart will let you see over time how much higher or lower your battery gets. So you can check out like what you have plugged in and how much that's draining. So you can estimate for future trips how often you'll need to charge your battery. The cool thing about these battery terminals with the multiple connector spots is that you don't have to stack a bunch of things up on here. So like if you have two batteries, you won't have these two plus say your battery tracker all stacked up on one of these. You can split them out this way. Okay, so you take your positivo or your positive and you put it with your plus. So red is positive always. So we're gonna flip it this way so that it doesn't interfere with our other battery terminal. You loosen it up, right? It's sticking a little bit for me, so if that happens, you just take your hammer, because I have it pretty loose. And now it's on. So then you tighten, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Then you tighten, tighten is this way. So you tighten it until you get a little bit of resistance on this. Tighten it some more, a little bit more. So you just want to make sure it's tight enough to where this isn't turning. So both of these are on, they're not turning, they are ready. Your jumper cable for your battery setup needs to be a wider, thicker cable than the one that comes on your camper. So see how the one on my camper is a gauge that's smaller than this one? That is what you need. So when you're looking at these, they have to be bigger than the ones on your camper. All right, so we're taking our jumper cables and we're connecting them. Black is negative, right? So we're gonna connect this one here. To our other negative, which is here. And the same for the reds. So for you guys who think, I should be working on the camper, I like to have a staging area so I can set up everything I need as a car goes by. and make sure that I know kind of how things need to be laid out. So I have my stations here with the different steps I have to take. That's just my organization. Some people would be just fine doing this on their camper. I prefer to do it with a staging area like on a workbench or on a tailgate. All right, so red goes to positive. Red is always positive. So I just hooked up the battery tracker so I could test it out and make sure it was working. And so I have the red connected over here and the black connected to the negative. And I go to the phone and boom, 100%, 12.74 volts. No, I don't think I can. All right, so I'm going to test it out to see if I got to the right part, because not quite. So I have a step down bit, and that's why I'm going one by one to see how wide it needs to be. So I'm going to go down a couple more steps. Nope. One more. Okay, I've put a little bit more of a hole here so that this could sit flush. So let's see if it will do that now. Yes. All right, so now this outside is sitting flush and the inside doesn't have that much of a gap because it's actually a bit of a circle here. So I am ready to secure this. One important thing to remember when you're using a drill, always have on safety glasses. I got these on Amazon for like $11. I typed in COVID glasses because they come with the side and top protection, and I just use them whenever I use a drill. Okay, so we got the Zamp Solar secured. These are going to come in here. The black is long enough to get here, but the red is not long enough to get over here. So to get the red long enough to get over here, we're gonna have to extend the wire. And so let me show you how that goes. First, you're going to have to strip the wire. This, on here it says, the gauge. So it's 10 gauge. So I'm gonna go over here to crimp and look up 10. And that is where I'm gonna try to strip, because that's probably the right for this wire. Oh, also, because I'm gonna put on this connector to determine how far down to strip it, I'm probably gonna only go about that far down. So 10, that far down. All right, so next we have some shrink wrap to seal it. We're gonna stick that down the wire. Oops. We're gonna stick that down the wire, just so it's there. And then we're gonna put this around all of these little wires. Get in there. All right, I think they're all in there. All right, and then I'm gonna crimp it with this. So that's on there. Okay, so now it's crimped, and I'm gonna pull up this to shrink wrap to seal it. I'm gonna pull it up to about right there so it can cover everything that needs to cover. And I'm gonna get my heat gun. I'm gonna put that on the tube.
you think that's
all right,
good.
so to extend it, I've already cut the wire and gotten it ready to put into this connector sleeve. But first, I'm gonna put, oh, here. I'm gonna put my shrink wrap on it, just so it's down at the bottom. All right. So shrink wrap is ready, and I cut it longer than this. And I'm gonna put in one side here, and the other side here. Okay, so the two wires are connected, they've been crimped. I'm gonna move the shrink wrap up so I can heat gun it. Now, usually this would need to be red because your wire is red, but I have some red, tape to cover it with. All right, so I'm gonna center it on here, and then I'm gonna use the heat gun. Looks pretty good to me. So some people won't care because like on this jumper cable they have some black at the top, but I covered all of the black with red, and I covered all this with red tape, and so now we're good to go. This will reach from the edge over here all the way to this terminal. All right, so for those of you guys with Zamp Solar, like portable solar panels, I got this on Amazon. It's a connector that goes straight to your battery, because on this rig the hookup is on the roof. So this way I can plug my Zamp portable solar panel right into the battery to charge the battery. So when this goes to the black, this will come over here to the red, and right here there is a safety feature. There's a fuse. So if something is wrong, it will blow this fuse instead of messing up your battery. First, we're going to connect the camper wires to the batteries, and we're going to run them underneath here. So that positive red goes to the positive over there. This negative black comes over here to this negative. And
stop.
And now we're gonna hook the batteries together now that we have them hooked to the camper. Whatever gauge your jumper cables are, you need to make sure they are thicker or wider or more circumference than the ones from the actual camper, or you're gonna have some issues. So these, the ones that I have to connect the batteries together are thicker than the ones coming from the actual camper. So we're gonna hook positive to positive to hook the batteries together. Alright, so do it this way. Just a little bit. Oh. So I almost put it to the negative. So this is positive red. We're gonna put more positive red. And I'm gonna add this right on top of the one I already have on here. So next time I shouldn't secure it down so much. Now it's off, and I'm going to slide it under here and over this one. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. All right. Same thing with the negatives to connect the battery to the battery. And again, make sure that the gauge of your wire is thicker or wider than the gauge of the wire that's coming from the camper. All right, so we're going to connect first here. So let me loosen up this one. Probably should have cut my nails. I'm gonna be doing a lot of work on this, so probably need to go ahead and do that because nails do get in the way. All right, so I'm gonna make sure I hold this so it doesn't hit anything else. Slide this under here and put it on. Whoops. Thank you, cameraman. All right, and then I need to get it over here. So I'm also going to go under the handle and secure it here. All right, so I have the red connected to the positive over here, and I have the battery tracker kind of positioned. I'll either zip tie it here, or if it kind of stays on its own, I'll leave it. But I wanted the QR code, that's what it's called, the QR code facing up so I can make sure I hook it to my phone if it gets a lost connection for the Bluetooth. So I'm gonna attach it to the negative on this side, probably this one. Let's see, I can get that up a little bit. Yeah, it's gonna work. Okay, all right, that's good. Now last step is hooking the Zamp Solar to the main terminal here. So, and then red to positive. Make sure it's the right way. My boobs are in the way. Hold on. Ah, there we go. I'm gonna loosen up this. All right. You just go through and tighten down all 4 of your main connections. Make sure you don't touch other metal with this. Like, if you have it on this, try not to lean it over here and touch any of these. Not a good thing. There we go. All right, and that's that. So my 2 batteries are now parallel. They've got a tracker on them, so I can use my phone to keep up with the amount of charge that's still left in them. And here they are, strapped down in their cases, which we will put a steel core around for security.